In our first story, former Deputy Energy Minister K.T. Hammond is asking the President and Parliament to dissolve and prosecute the board of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, the GNPC. Mr. Hammond, who is also MP for Asokwa, claims the GNPC board has fraudulently paid huge sums of money in end-of-service benefit to the corporation's former CEO, Chachi Chikata, and other officials. According to Mr. Hammond, Mr. Chikata does not deserve to be rewarded for his work because it was under his leadership that the GNPC recorded its worst performance ever.
I think it's not only unwarranted, I think it's criminal, it's unethical, and it has to be investigated. You know, I'm struggling for words. I have explained the basis on which I predicate my statement that this payment should be investigated by, indeed, both Parliament and, of course, the Presidency. My view is that these set of individuals, of course, headed by Mr. Chikata, did nothing for the state to compensate them. That is even not even so belated, because the belatedness of it is another matter. But you know, Mr. Chikata and those other people were removed by Mr. Rollins. Mr. Rollins, of all people, who had everything to do with Mr. Chikata, found it going pretty awful, to the extent that he himself saw the need to remove Mr. Chikata.
GNPC has reacted. The GNPC thinks that they merit the ex gratia. They call it an ex gratia. You don't think so?
Anger. It's making a lot of people angry. I mean, I've given you the background. I mean, if you just oppose what I've given you to this statement, don't you think it's sickening? What is the that justifies the payment of the monies that I have indicated? This is the man who presided over this. He must have been given his entitlement. Mr. Rollins removed him from there, took him to whatever, to Ministry of whatever, all of it before we took over. So how come that 15 years down the line, we're talking about 2015, November 2015 years down the line, and somebody sits out there and says that's what justified. Indeed, my understanding is that the board of its own volition decided that these people were worthy of these gargantuan monies, and that should be paid to them, irrespective of a claim or not. And so they doled out that much money to these specific individuals. I'm asking the president, arrest all of them, dissolve the board immediately, and then we take it from. The money is not theirs by entitlement. It's not theirs by right. It belongs to the people of Ghana. They should put the money back. The money will be recouped, and then the consequences we will visit thereafter. But immediately, the board which took the decision, whether it is the old board or the new board, if the old board is already dissolved, if it is a new board, it should be dissolved immediately. Or if it was disbursed under this new board, it should be dissolved. I mean, nobody can escape liability or blame for what has happened. It's criminal in its entirety.
Former First Lady Nana Akufo-Addo Rollins is urging President Mahama to open up and accept criticisms in good faith. Her comments follow the president's suggestions that he would only take criticisms from those who had previously occupied his office. Addressing supporters of her National Democratic Party in home, Mrs. Rollins described the Mahama administration as an incompetent one.
NDP!
Speaking at an acclamation ceremony for the Volta Regional Executives of the NDP, Mrs. Rollins stressed that the Mahama-led administration has proven to be incompetent, saying soaring prices of commodities is evidence.
I think the 5th and 6th parliaments of the Mills Mahama NDC regime have virtually supervised some of the most unspeakable crimes that we have seen in this country. Unspeakable crimes against our nation in monstrous corruption and abuse of people's mandate in reckless abandon. Very reckless. It is therefore very clear that we can identify two types of leadership, namely sufficient and efficient leadership, being guided by the Constitution, and a corrupt and abusive leader who goes against the mandate of the people with reckless abandon. Yes. The two are different.
Nana Konadu Rawlings also maintained that corruption is at the highest levels ever, adding only a change in administration will improve the lot of Ghanaians.
We want a certain level of honesty. Probity and accountability should reign. Social justice. There are people who never get social justice in our country anymore, based on, depending on which side you are on. It doesn't matter what's happening to you, you can't get social justice. We want to bring back social justice. We want to bring back honesty. We want to bring back a situation where people understand that when you are voted into power, it's not for you. You are there for the people. Therefore, the people can criticize what you do or what you don't do. And you must listen. You must listen and change the way you do things for the better and for the people of Ghana.
The newly sworn-in regional executives promised to work assiduously to help the NDP win more votes in the Volta region. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Get a lawyer, seek legal advice. And that's the advice coming from Supreme Court Judge Justice Joseph Akamba, who believes that lawyers can help improve the quality of journalism in Ghana and also help journalists avoid legal trouble.
You're speaking at the swearing-in ceremony for a new 18-member board for the National Media Commission. Here's a report by Hannah Odami.
The new board members of the National Media Commission were tasked to ensure strict adherence to media law and the journalistic code of ethics, especially as the country enters an election year. Swearing in the new board, Justice Joseph Akamba said this must be done to better shape media practice in the country.
The media in Ghana has undoubtedly enjoyed almost unfettered freedom, especially in this democratic and constitutional dispensation. But for our democracy to thrive, the media as the fourth estate of the realm must be circumspect in their reportage. Bear in mind that 2016 is an election year and the media as an agenda setter must be guided by you to ensure neutrality and a balanced reportage and programming in order not to erode the democratic gains and successes we have achieved since the birth of the Fourth Republic.
He advised media owners and managers to seek legal advice to help improve upon the quality of their work.
The NMC should also encourage media owners to engage the services of lawyers who would look at stories they churn out with the legal lenses from time to time to avoid some of the problems they face due to ignorance. And be vigilant because of the proliferation of the media, including new media, which is even more pluralistic.
Former chairman of the Media Commission, Ambassador Cabral Blay Amihia, told Joy News he wants the new board to uphold his legacy of fairness.
They are not here to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is already there. It is the Constitution. And if you commit yourself to the Constitution, let it guide you, let the Code of Ethics guide you, I believe that success will be yours.
What's the one important legacy you have left behind?
I have built a tradition of impartiality, objectivity, a tradition of, or a culture of commitment to the spirit and letter of Chapter 12 of the Constitution, which is to promote and defend press freedom, to promote national interests, to insulate the state-owned media from governmental control. In all this, in spite of all the contradictions, we have been able to enshrine the principle.
New NMC Chair Kwesi John Appington said getting the broadcasting bill passed into law and ensuring journalists respect the ethics of the profession will be top on the agenda of the new board.
It's the work of the NMC to ensure that the media and media institutions do their work. And that is our mandate. And that is what we've just sworn an oath to the nation to protect and promote.
The broadcasting becoming a law, it's something that a lot of people, especially journalists, are looking up to. How soon are we going to see that?
Well, that is now in Parliament, as you know, and it's been there for quite a while. But it's of utmost importance that we get the broadcasting bill into law, and it will be a priority for the 8th Commission.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odami.
Now let's talk crime, because the Accra Central District Police has paraded some suspected criminals who were arrested for various crimes, including carjacking.
DCOP Christian Tete Yahono briefed the media on the arrests.
Two car-snatching suspects, Louis Zankuma and Prince Amwakun, allegedly succeeded in attacking and snatching over 20 vehicles from unsuspecting victims within Accra. They then reportedly drove these cars to other parts of the country, notably Dunkwa Onofin in the central region, and sold them at cheap prices. DCOP Tete told the media one of the suspects, Louis Zankuma, is an ex-convict and a beneficiary of the Justice for All program.
During interrogation, they confessed to the crime and told police that they came all the way from Techima with the purpose of coming to snatch vehicles in Accra. They also confessed to have hijacked over 20 vehicles, which they offer for sale at a fee of between 900 to 1,000. They led the police to Dukwa Onofin and identified Bernard Ofosu Apia, 44 years, and Charles Bossi, 32 years, as dishonest receivers. So far, police has been able to retrieve 14 of the vehicles, and they are 5 Nissan Amera, 5 Toyota Corolla, 2 Pontiac Vibes, 1 Nissan Sentra, and 1 Kia Rio.
DCOP Tete Yohonu advised the public to be wary about buying cars with for sale stickers on them.
The public is also cautioned against for sale notices usually displayed on vehicles intended for sale. Car owners wishing to offer their vehicles should seek the assistance of garages instead of displaying for sale, as most criminals express interest only to swindle and snatch the vehicles.
This suspect, Mahmoud Mohammed, was arrested at Adenta for robbery.
On the 5th of November 2015 at about 1:50 a.m., Mahmoud and 3 other accomplices currently on the run, wielding a machete, attacked and robbed a lady in a residence at Adenta Sakura. They succeeded in making away with 1 iPhone, a Samsung flat screen television, a home theater, 2 laptops, and cashed the sum of 500 Ghana cedis. When the police was informed of the robbery attack and swiftly proceeded to the area, the 4 bolted as soon as they spotted the police, during which time they were packing the booty into the car. They abandoned the Toyota Corolla, which was later ascertained that the vehicle belonged to a car rental company, which was hired and used for the robbery. Suspect Mahmoud Mohammed was then traced to his hideout at Medina and arrested. Investigations are also ongoing.
The Batona police also arrested some suspected robbers who terrorized residents on the Spintex Road particularly.
On the dawn of Monday, 26 November, at about 2 a.m., police control room received a distress call that a house at Hydrophone Estate was under attack. The district patrol team quickly proceeded to the scene, but unfortunately the robbers had bolted. While the team was patrolling around for the suspects, they spotted 3 suspicious characters within the locality. A search was conducted on them, and the police retrieved 1 locally manufactured pistol and a knife. They were arrested and they confessed to the crime, and they will be put before court soon.
The police also have in their grips 3 suspects who terrorized holiday makers at the beaches and resorts in Kokrobite.
They are Richard Boy Lai, 18 years, Emmanuel Kome, 25 years, is an ex-convict and who was sentenced for stealing and also for narcotic cases. Augustina Osei, a 20-year-old female and a waitress. These suspects for some time now have been attacking holiday makers and tourists along the beaches and taking their valuables from them. In this recent one, on the 23rd November 2015, these suspects and other 3 attacked patrons of the Mostin Beach with broken bottles and made away with mobile phones, an unspecified amount of money, and also iPad and other valuables were retrieved from them.
The Tema Metropolitan Assembly may have been adjudged Ghana's best district. Well, but for some residents, there's little to show for that very accolade.
Their biggest concern is sanitation. Tema was ranked first in the district league table compiled by UNICEF and CDD using indicators from health, education, sanitation, water, governance, and security. Matilda Bomaga visited the metropolis and came through with this report.
The Tema Metropolitan Assembly was crafted and built as part of Ghana's Dream Industrial Hub. According to residents, the once plush lawns, well laid out and beautifully planned city, is now in ruins. They say the city, which once represented modernity and served as a beacon of hope for the young Ghanaian nation, is gradually being turned into a slum, which remains a source of worry for many of those who have lived here for more than 4 decades. Being ranked first on the district league table comes as a shock to them.
Tema is being picked by CDD as the best place or city to live in Ghana. Fine, that is for the CDD. But for we here in Community 4,
reality is different.
That is the point. It's totally different. Totally different from what the CDD based their, samples or whatever on. It's not so as the picture depicts to CDD. You know, if I were to be there, maybe the the rankings would have been maybe different. It will not be as it is now because they don't live here. How many of the CDD staff live here in Community 4? I would be most grateful if the TMA would be much more proactive in saying to arrest, this situation of filth engulfing the whole of Community 4.
What I used to see before then, that's not what I'm seeing now. When it comes to sanitation, it's very bad. You see, about 2 months, the what they call bolaka water will not be coming around, and you see people heaping their rubbish in polythene bags, in boxes, in sacks, and when the rain falls, it carries all this into the gutters and it's choked, right? And the smell alone, you cannot even bear it.
I know Community 4 has an issue with the sewage system. Has it improved?
No, that thing is still over there. It's not been done. It's still when it rains heavy, all the gutters got choked, and we can't have nose to smell dirty things. So that thing haven't been done. When we go to our assemblyman that we have elected, we force him to go to the TMA to do something about it. He couldn't. New one also has come. He couldn't. We are still on it. So we want them to come and see to it. You yourself, we can go there and see.
Other residents, however, disagree. They say the presence of police patrols in the communities, coupled with access to healthcare facilities, makes Tema the best place to live.
When we talk of security and health issues in Tema here, I would say it's the best. Because you could see, like every corner, you could see pharmacies and hospitals all around. So when we talk of the health side, I would say Tema is the best.
We've got a lot of facilities here in terms of health, education, security. Yeah, that's why I think Tema is the best place to live.
Security, what exactly is so unique about the security here in Tema?
In Tema, most of it you see there's Navy people patrolling the town, seeing to. So in Newtown, all the time, things are in order.
The desire of these residents, however, is for the TMA to step up its efforts to address the serious sanitation issues confronting the city. Matilda Pamaga, for Joy News.
Tema sanitation.
Yeah, but Tema looks clean at least.
It's serious, Fadama. Sukura.
I mean, you know, from the pictures that we've seen this morning, I think they deserve to be, even though they are #1, but they are like 70-something on the list. But
what's happening is that, Tema used to be very neat than it is now. So I guess it's just a benchmark based on previous indicators. And I believe that the residents also. But the point is the residents have the foremost responsibility to keep their communities clean. And you keep we have a second generation, third generation of residents there, and sometimes they just don't keep to the right standards. That's what I believe.
All right. So that's it for the AM News for now. Lots of your comments coming through. Yeah, we've seen. We'll share some with you when we come back. After this break, we're going to check out what the newspapers are reporting this morning, at least as captured by MyJoyOnline.com.
Just stay on. When we come back, the newspapers, the various stories.
I don't talk like that. Stay with us.
Right.